And the podcast will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dennis Hofilena.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
You are most welcome. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good. Excellent.
My God. Yeah. I've heard so many nice, funny things about you, but we will talk about, if you don't mind sharing, no? I guess the one thing I forgot to ask you before we began the taping is what's off the table and what's on the table. But I guess we'll just have to find out as we go along.
That's right.
Right? So, don't if you're thinking, is there going to be an introduction? I actually did that already. So I already have the introduction set. Oh. So this is basically our conversation. But what intrigues me is I want to know, who is Dennis Hofilena as a young boy?
Dennis Hofilena as a young boy was, I would say I grew up in a pretty strict, Catholic family. Went to boys' school.
Where was this? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Caloocan.
Ooh.
And then moved to Marikina.
That's like magkabilaan
yeah. Yeah. So it was. We lived in Caloocan. I went to school at Notre Dame in Caloocan. Then my grandparents decided to downsize, be closer to one of their kids. So we lived in SSS
Village, Olive Street.
Right. No, not Olive, but Gold Street.
Gold
but
Street.
I knew some people who lived on
Olive and Phase 4.
Olive and Phase 3. I don't think there was a Phase 4 back then.
Was it Phase 3 and Phase...
There was, I think it was Rancho or something they called it.
Oh my God, Rancho. Yeah. Where Claret is.
Maris
pala.
Maris, yeah. So I had a...
Well, sorry, Lasal. Shout out sa mga taga Maris. Yeah. Sa may Rancho, yeah.
Right. They're next to Saints Cove.
Yes. And then ano yung dulo na tinitigilan ng mga jeep? Is it Panorama?
Right.
Panorama, di ba?
Yeah.
Dadaan sa Olive, dire-diretso hanggang Panorama.
Right. And that's where all the buses and the jeepneys stop.
Yes.
But that was...
See, I remember my Marikina days.
Did you spend time in Marikina?
I had a girlfriend in SSS Village, and the mom wouldn't allow me to see the girlfriend. So I made friends with the neighbor, the sari-sari store.
Did she live in Olive?
She lived on Olive Street. And then what was the street, Jay? Yung kinamaruha? Yung after... Peach, di ba? Olive.
That's where my uncle lived.
May tindahan. Oh my God.
Right.
See, I remember.
It's a small world. Don't mention the girlfriend's name because I'm...
I'll mention
but no. That's where my uncle lived on Peach Street. So
that's like the street parallel to Olive, di ba?
Right.
And then may esquinita, so you can just walk.
Like a little, you cut across and then you end up at the church.
Yes, and then that esquinita right beside it, there's a sari-sari store. That's where I would
remember that.
That's where I would hang out. So I was friends with the Gerchitorenas, the Gatchalians on Peach Street.
Okay.
Sina Romel and Hazel Gatchalian and the Orlinas on Peach Street.
Yeah, the last name sounds familiar.
Yes.
But that's where my cousin still lives.
See, small. So you lived in SS.
I did.
Gold Street.
Which Gold Street is Phase 1.
Phase 1, yeah.
So
where'd you go to school nung naglipat na kayo sa SSS?
I finished high school sa Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I was schlepping every day. I think I might have been a sophomore when we moved.
How many are you in the family?
There's 4. All boys.
All boys.
All boys. So 2 of us finished high school at Notre Dame. The other one finished high school in San Beda.
Okay.
And the other one didn't finish high school, but he was attending Maris before we came over in 1984.
Wait, the whole family migrated to the States, man?
Yeah.
All together?
All together at the same time.
Oh my God.
Sold the house, sold the car, gave away all my vinyl records.
What?
I know, right?
Wait, so you left the Philippines, you were in college na, or high school pa rin?
I already started working. I already started working at the Ministry of Human Settlements when it was around back then.
And when you left for the States, that was on a petition?
Yeah. My mom and my grandparents, they had lived here since the 70s.
Yeah.
So we knew eventually we were coming over.
Right.
But by 1984, my mom said, "Okay, boys, sell everything."
You were single?
We were all single. And
You
that was
bawal to get married.
exactly. That was the one thing
You couldn't do, di ba?
no, do anything but get married. No.
Because you can't. Kasi sira petition.
That's
Because you were all
right.
petitioned as single individuals.
children
Yeah.
of American citizens. So
Yes,
so we came in 84, all of us together.
So paano yun? You had a girlfriend in the Philippines?
Yes. And I married her the following year.
In the Philippines or here na?
Year.
So how did she come here, tourist?
She was a tourist. She was. I made a vow to her. Before I left in '84. I said, I'm going to find a way to bring you here. That was 1984, and
So 84, you came here, and then what's the name of your wife?
the ex-wife,
The ex-wife?
Marie.
Marie. So the ex-wife is Marie, and you brought her here in 85.
85, right? We got married in 85.
Okay, so you were here, she was there. Now,
For a whole year.
long distance LDR kayo.
It was. And this was before email.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, that's why I wanted to allude to this.
Right.
Paano ang LDR in 1984? How was a long distance relationship like in 1984? Snail mail.
That's right. So every time I'd receive a letter from her, I'd respond right away. The following day, I'm at the post office dropping off the letter, and then you have to wait another week
Wala
or
pang
so.
phone card.
There was a phone card. The funny thing is, the phone card back then, there was no phone card, but this was the beginnings of the phone card. Back
So it
then,
was expensive.
there were these codes.
Oh, yeah.
that people would, give out.
Oh, my God.
So it's like, and because of the time difference, it's evening here, it's morning there.
Yes.
I would and the code would only work on certain
Providers.
phone
Yes.
providers. There was GTE and Pacific
Bell. Oh,
Pacific Bell and GTE.
See, I know my phone companies.
Yeah,
I worked for one of them before when I came here. Yeah.
So we lived in LA in Alhambra.
Okay.
And then GTE was only available here in
Right.
West Covina.
Right.
So evening, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, even 10 o'clock.
Wow.
I would find a phone booth, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
They don't even have them anymore, I think. So dial the code number, and I would call the ex-wife.
Okay.
And she was working at, of all places, PLDT. In the middle of the workday. Like, babe, what you doing?
Oh, my God.
Working. So between letter writing and not the phone card, but those codes.
Yeah.
So we survived a year.
How about
of
Telegram? Wala?
No.
RCPI.
You can only fit so many words.
Diba?
And it's
Break
expensive.
na tayo.
Right.
Break space na. Space tayo. Dot.
Really. Really. So we did that for a year, and then
You were patient, huh?
more patient when you're younger, I guess, right? So, and then a friend of ours, his dad owned a travel agency, and he said, "Oh, I'm not going to mention the name, but this young actress and her mom were coming to the States, so she was able to get a visa under the guise of her
Entourage.
being this actress's
PA.
tutor."
Oh, tutor.
Tutor. Yeah.
My God.
So we came in April of 84. She came in about August of 85.
And you didn't waste time.
No, because when your grandparents and parents are devout Catholics, you can't live in the apartment without the benefit of marriage.
So did you go to Vegas or you got married here na?
Got married here in San Gabriel.
Oh, close.
At St. Anthony.
Yeah.
the church.
Yes.
Just off the freeway.
Oh, my God.
We lived in Alhambra at that time, and we knew the parish priest in San Gabriel. So we would go to that church also. So November of 85, we got married.
Did you have kids?
We had kids 2 years later.
How many?
The first one was born in 1987. And then we had twins 2 years later in 1989.
What? So three.
Three.
So the
all
twins,
girls.
all girls.
All girls.
Oh my God,
All
kayo
girls.
boys,
Exactly. So
all boys, and then you had...
All right, all girls. The crazy thing is my mom, who had 4 boys, had 7 granddaughters and 1 grandson. Only 1 grandson.
Wow.
So I think my brother who had the son was traumatized after that. And it's like, that's it. One.
Wait. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, that crazy. All boys, went to boys' school. Nagsakristan pa ako. I was an altar boy.
Oh my goodness.
And then it's like 3 girls. And you know what they say? It's like, were you a playboy back then?
Were you a playboy?
No. Some people might disagree, but I think I was pretty good. I was a good boy.
Okay.
I was pretty silent. I was quiet. I was low key. I was not one of the popular guys. Let's put it that way.
You were, but that's how it starts. Like in high school, I was low key, and actually, no one knew that I was going to be part of a band. My other guest, Wolf Hemora from the rock band Wolfgang, which became the #1 hard rock band in the Philippines. Kabatch ko sa high school. No one would suspect that guy would form a rock band. So I can relate to. Okay, so ex-wife. Bakit ex-wife? You guys are no longer together?
We're no longer together. Yeah.
In 1986. No, just kidding.
No, a few minutes after. No, we made it to about 2006.
Tagal,
so that's like 21 years.
And then
most of it was happy. Towards the end, it was it got rocky, and you just become 2 different people. Probably,
right? Are you dating now?
I remarried.
You remarried?
I remarried 3 years ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're still talking to each other. Right? Yeah. She still finds me funny. I still put up with her annoyances and all, right? But see, that's the thing you find out. The second time around, probably it's like, okay, I made this mistake, and
ako, inabot ako ng the third time sa charm naman yung sa akin.
Well.
So I got married in the Philippines, got annulled, got married again in the Philippines, took my ex-wife to the States with me, 9 years and 10 months. And then she realized that she really couldn't put up with me. And at that time, I was blaming the first wife and the second wife. And I was playing the victim until I realized that was so narcissistic of me. And then when the third wife came along, before the third wife came along, I made my peace with God. And I said, Lord, just bless me with someone I could love. And I just pressed that reset button.
Right.
And 7 years into my marriage, I have all of this. And I'm a very supportive wife. So kudos to God.
I know.
Lord, if you're...
Yeah.
Kita mo na. Thank you, Lord. And thank you to my wife.
This message is brought to you by the Archdiocese.
Diba? Speaking of Archdiocese, ang nag-discover naman sa Intro Voice was the Archdiocese of Ilocos, of Lawag.
Really?
Archdiocese of Lawag. I think they wanted to get the cheapest band for a fundraising. But we turned out, nag-click kami sa Lawag kay Father Rock. So, Father Rock Bonoan, if you're listening, thank you very much. We owe our career to you. And we went back. And nakapagpatayo na mas malaking simbahan sa
you
Lawag.
gave back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hindi kami naningil ng talent fee.
Right.
But the fans, they were there. So anyway, back to you. So, okay. So, you had a girl and then you had twins. And how was life in the States?
How was life in the States?
Let's talk about you and your new bride.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
let's go back. No. The first bride. So, nandito na kayo sa States.
Right.
Now, when you say moved into the apartment, both of you lived with your parents pa rin?
We were living the boys were living with, me and my brothers were living with my grandparents in a 2-bedroom apartment in Alhambra. Right. So there was 4 of us.
Okay.
And my grandparents.
6. So, nagdagdag ka pa ng isa.
6. Right. So we weren't there for very long. So after we got married, a few months later, we moved to LA.
Right.
But that was 1985, right? So a few months after I came.
What were you doing now? What was your job at this time?
I was a reservations manager.
Already?
At a hotel.
Already? Yeah. So, so during your first year, because I want to get to that. That's one topic we have to talk about. So on your first year, when your now ex-wife, your first wife wasn't here yet, you applied for a job?
I applied for a job 3 months after doing what you normally do, going to Universal, going to Disneyland. It's like, okay, time to find a job.
You know, my aunt gave me a week.
A week?
Yes, she bought me a plane ticket and made me feel like a tourist for a week. And actually, after that, she said, "You better find a job."
No.
Yes,
That's too soon.
so I go, "Auntie, I have a tourist visa." Whatever, go find a job.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
So,
but anyway, no, I did.
Yeah.
I came in April, and by June, I was bored out of my mind. And
oh, you were bored out, so no one pushed you to
no
find.
one pushed us. Yeah, no one pushed us.
Wow, lucky you.
But we were like, what do you do now? We've been to Universal, we went to Disneyland, but it was time to find a job. So I said, what do I do? My degree was in mass communications. I don't have the face for TV. I don't even have the voice for radio.
So why'd you take up mass communication?
Originally I wanted to take up journalism, and then I shifted to a broader field, which was mass communications. But I liked the production side of things.
So what was the dream of 20-plus-year-old Dennis?
Oh, just to either be working in newspapers as a journalist, maybe. Behind the scenes on TV or radio. I was more interested in the behind the scenes. That's why when I came here, I was more interested in Universal than the rides at Disneyland.
Yes,
How do they make magic?
Yeah. Oh.
So I wanted 23-year-old Dennis when I came here wanted to work behind the scenes. So I was looking for a job, and I went to ABC and NBC and quickly found out this isn't going to work. It's like everybody and their brother and their dog wants to be behind the camera or in front of the camera. There's too much competition.
Was there, aside from competition, was there politics? Did you feel politics? Like you had to be a friend of somebody?
No, I didn't feel that. I didn't go very far.
Oh, okay.
You send the application, you don't get a call back.
Yes.
So I said, well, let's just see what's out there.
Right.
So I was walking on La Cienega Boulevard. There was a hiring office, and there were pictures of what looked like hotels.
So hiring office meaning an agency?
No, it was just...
Not even?
No, because the hotels I eventually worked for, they weren't even open yet. This was in 1984. The LA Olympics was happening.
Yes.
I think the Olympics were in July, and I started work. I was looking in like June.
Okay, wow.
So the hotels weren't open yet, so they had to rent an office, and I was walking on La Cienega. It's like, this looks like hotels. It's like, all right.
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
But why did it catch your attention? See, because 23-year-old Dennis wanted to know what was going on behind the scene. That's why he took up mass communication.
Yeah.
But if you were walking on La Cienega, what piqued your curiosity to actually check openings for hotel?
Just the visual.
Really?
Just the visual.
Really?
My mind wasn't really, okay, you got to find something behind the camera. You got to work in radio. You got to do this. No, I wasn't dead set on that because this was early on. My thought was, this is your first job, not your last job.
Right. You just get your feet wet.
Yeah,
kinda.
Get your feet wet, earn your wings kind of thing. So I saw the visual, hotels.
Okay.
So they had a list of openings there. Front desk clerk, housekeepers, kitchen help. And then I said, what should I apply for? So sabi ko, I think let's see, maybe front desk or maybe, they had an opening. What is this? PBX operator. Sagot ng phone. And mind you, there was no...
The PBX system.
PBX is like this, like a little board.
Where you switchboard. It's a switchboard.
It's a switchboard, really. So I applied for that. So I'm like filling out this application. And then there's these older Filipina ladies who came up to me and said, anong ina-applyan mo? It's like, PBX operator. And then they just like discouraged me and said, bakit PBX operator, hindi ka matatanggap dyan. It's like, you have an accent. You just got here. Kadarating mo lang. So I said, what should I apply for? Well, mag-apply ka in housekeeping.
What?
Or the kitchen.
Oh my God. I mean, no offense to those working those jobs, right?
No.
But why?
But, syempre,
how'd you feel when they were discouraging you?
I was just taken aback. I wasn't like super upset at them or anything like that. I was just taken aback and like, wait a minute, I'm like 23, just got here. So syempre, you're still idealistic and all that. Even if I didn't want, even if I just really wanted to be, behind the camera and all that. So I applied for it and I got hired. I got hired answering the phones.
How was the interview process like? Did they even kind of profile your accent or?
No, I didn't feel that. Although I didn't feel that, except that I think coming in, I had less of an accent, I guess, or it wasn't as pronounced as others. But I didn't have an American accent,
right?
But it's like, pwede na.
Do you know what the Eagle Rock accent is?
The Eagle Rock accent?
Do you guys know what the Eagle Rock accent is?
What's the Eagle Rock?
So the Eagle Rock accent is every vowel, regardless of A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, it has to be pronounced E, 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 E. That's the Eagle Rock accent. E, 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 E. Hey, where are you going?
Oh, really? I did not know
my
that.
God. Ito mga, no offense, guys. I just had to say that because I normally go to the Eagle Rock Plaza in Eagle Rock and all these fresh off the boat Filipinos. That's why I decided not to let go of my accent because I would hear them and, hey, Paco.
Right.
Where is your show? Area and tear? No, we're not on tour. But
I did not know that.
But
Eagle Rock accent.
I mean, because Eagle Rock is
Right.
Filipino county, right?
Right.
Or West Covina for that matter. But when you're at Seafood City or Island Pacific or any place where there's Filipino and there are these kids who are fresh off the boat or even their moms. Again, no offense to all of you, but if that's you, I mean, shout out. Listen to how they talk. The vowels just disappeared from A, E, I, O, U. It becomes E, 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 E. E, 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 E.
I'll note it. Titinan ko nga. Maybe I'll pay a visit.
But right? It's like, hey, Dennis, how are you?
Hey, Dennis.
No, that's Pinoy. That's Pinoy, right? But pag na Eagle Rockish ka na, Dennis.
What's up, Dennis?
No, what's up?
What's up?
It's so flat. Right? I don't know. Anyway, so they did profile your accent.
No, I didn't get that feeling. I was just lucky. I was just lucky to have something. I was just lucky to have a job. It was minimum wage.
Ooh, what was minimum wage back in 1984?
In 1984, it was $5.25.
Do you have any idea how much is it now?
I know
January 2020. How much do you
15?
think it is? 15.
15.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know some of the kids at the office are at like 15. And my daughter, one of my daughters who got her first job in advertising, I asked her how much she was making. I'm like, what? You're making how much? It took me a long time to make that much. And she's like, Dad, that was a long time ago.
I know.
So that was my first job, graveyard even.
Really?
I worked 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. answering the phones
to practice your accent.
Yeah.
Were your bosses Caucasians?
Yes. Yeah, they were Caucasians.
No racism, no nothing.
Didn't feel that.
Nice.
Feel that. Yes, I'm lucky. I'm lucky in that sense. If there ever was, it just went over my head.
That's great.
So yeah, it was 11 to 7 was tough. I didn't have a car for the first few months. So I would just take the bus, and I would walk from Fairfax Avenue to near La Cienega where the hotel was.
Wow!
And you would walk on Sunset, and you'd come across like prostitutes and crazy people,
especially on Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, I don't
Sunset,
know.
Yeah.
I really don't know the area.
Wink, wink. Well, take the bus from like Mid Wilshire, which is where we used to live, and then take the bus.
Which part of Mid Wilshire? I'll guess.
Mid Wilshire.
Is it Ardmore? Is it Kingsley? Is it?
It started out, we started
Is
on
it Hoover?
Rampart.
Rampart.
We used
Katabi,
to near Tommy's.
Yes. Oh,
That's where we used
the
to
original
live,
Tommy's.
The original Tommy's. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we'd catch a bus somewhere around there, and they'd get off on Fairfax, and then I would walk from Fairfax to La Cienega.
Wow.
To get to the office at 11 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and at that time, 11 p.m., people are starting to pick up their messages. And there was no voicemail.
Yes.
So the shift working ahead of me, they had to handwrite everything. So when people, can I get my messages? Okay.
Now let's talk about the hotel that you work for. What hotel was this?
Oh, this was the Sunset Marquis. I was there for
the famous Sunset Marquis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, at this time, were the villas there already?
The villas were there. There's two sets of villas. The first,
this is the by the pool villa.
right?
Yeah.
The first 4 villas were opened probably in the 80s. And they used to be residential houses.
Yes.
The hotel itself the original hotel was a 3-story, what looks like an apartment thing. And then the ownership bought the house next to it.
Right.
And then the house next to it. And then the house behind it. And they put a swimming pool in there. And
so that swimming pool that is actually surrounded by
other villas. Right. And
that
the cabanas.
Yes, that wasn't there before.
That was not there before. Those were houses. And one of the houses that was first bought was the Barrymore estate.
Oh,
so this
Drew
was
Barrymore's
grandfather's estate.
Now,
so yeah.
Here's my question: When you got the job at the Marquis, did you know the history of the place? Was it as what we know it now? I mean, to those who don't know what the Marquis is, it became a staple for what?
Right. It's a staple for the entertainment industry. People in music.
Right.
People in film.
Yes.
People in television. People in publishing, the fashion industry, advertising. That the Sunset evolved from sleepy 2.5, 3-star hotel into a 4-star villas and suites that it is now. It's even bigger than it was before.
So when you were there, what was its stature?
It had already hit its stride as, when I first got there in 87, it wasn't quite, there was no bar. We had a very tiny bar, and it was just like a bar for it was a banquet and stuff. So really small corner.
Wow.
But it didn't have the restaurant that it has now and the spa. But already when I got there in 87, there were already entertainers who were staying there. It was already known in the industry.
So, the 23-year-old guy who wanted to take up mass communication because he was interested in the behind the scenes of whatever was going on, finds himself as a PBX operator at a hotel that actually caters to the entertainment industry, the media industry.
Yeah. Well,
so you were seeing behind the scenes that other people weren't seeing.
Yeah.
And especially Graveyard, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. Well,
that's when the magic happens.
Well, before the Sunset, I was at what is now the Mondrian Hotel. So I was just PBX operator for 3 months.
And then after PBX, what did you become?
My boss said, I think we're promoting you to reservationist.
He wasn't even sure.
No, he was sure.
Oh.
He was sure. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I've only been here 3 months. I'm fresh off the plane. I said, I don't even know how to get from LAX to the hotel.
Right.
So he said, no, you'll be fine. He trusted me.
Reservations,
to reservations. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. So I would tell people coming out of LAX, because I didn't know the ins and outs of it, I'd say, when you come out of LAX, just go straight Century Boulevard and make a left on La Cienega. And La Cienega will take you all the way until it dead ends on Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Make a right turn and you'll see a building that looks like a giant Rubik's Cube. That's the hotel. So I was in reservations for about 7 months.
Okay.
So I'm answering the phone. And I'm answering
Wait,
the phone.
when you became reservations, you were off the graveyard shift.
I was off the graveyard shift.
And
I
was
7 to 3.
Was your ex-wife already in the States at that time?
She was already in the States.
Pregnant?
She came. No, not yet. We had just gotten married in 80.
Oh, so good things were happening, huh?
For 2 years. 2 years, yeah. 2 years, it was good. But yeah, I was working normal.
Right. I mean, got a promotion,
73.
got the wife,
Yeah.
got the new apartment,
Yes.
got
yes.
the car.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Got a brand new car from a Filipino dealership that is no
Really?
longer
Wow.
here. That kind of folded.
So you were kind of living the life now, no?
Yeah. And I thought, you know what? If I was in the Philippines, I don't know that I would have had the car.
Right.
I would have gotten a job in a hotel where you see a Robert Downey, a young Robert Downey, a young Madonna,
Yes.
a young Sarah Jessica Parker.
Was at that time was Madonna like a virgin?
She was in her like, I don't know if she was, but she was in the like a virgin, phase
Right.
of her career. And Robert Downey was, this was way before Iron Man and stuff. So I'm like, I don't think that I would have had this if I was in the Philippines.
So, but you were in reservations working the day shift. And now, okay. So were you talking to their agents also?
Yeah. I was talking more to their travel agents.
Agents.
Companies like Universal and NBC, they have a travel department. So they would just call and say, I'd like to book a reservation for X celebrity. And I'm just happy to take it, And but I thought it was very interesting talking to agents in different cities. You talk to people in London because they're making a reservation for Pierce Brosnan or whatever, and they're like, "Wow, they have an accent and everything. Wow, their
like
accent
you don't."
is so yeah, I have a Filipino accent, and theirs is British. Like,
right.
I think I have to ratchet up my accent game.
Oh.
So I thought that was pretty fun talking to. To me, they were just like regular people. Though in my head, it's like, oh, I just got a booking for Robert Downey and, all that. So I did that for about a year, and then I got promoted to reservations manager.
Okay.
In a sister hotel. So I thought, I'm lucky to be a manager within like a year of getting my first job and new car and able to, have a wife, no kids yet.
Yeah. So you left the Marquis.
No, this was still at the Mondrian. And then I got...
oh, my God.
They transferred me over to what is now the Chamberlain.
Yes.
It's still in West Hollywood, just one block down. So I toiled there for like a year. I was I was reservations manager, but that's when I first heard of being a musician yourself, like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Yes.
Like, wow. This was before the Janet Jackson, Miss Jackson if you're nasty kind of phase. So I did that for a year, and then in 1987 the Sunset Marquis called, and I knew someone, the front office manager said, "Do you want to come over as reservations manager?"
So here's my question: what made you a hot shot? Why would people call you? Why would people promote you? What were you doing differently? Because remember, these old these old Filipinos actually put you down.
Right.
After 3 months, you got promoted, and then you're being pirated after 2 years. What made you unique? The accent, really, or was it the personality? Which one? Or both?
I think it was both. I think it was a personality because I think they found me engaging. Because, the accent, someone said, I can't place the accent. Are you Canadian?
Nice.
Like, no, not even. Do I say A? But no, I think they found me easy to talk to, and I wasn't like starstruck or anything. So it was like pretty easy. I take reservations, and then I would ask questions like, oh, so you're calling from London. What's the weather like?
Right.
I just find like common ground with people. Like if they mention a sport that they like, I'll pick that up and use that as a conversation point or one of the bullet points in making conversation with them.
Yeah.
So I think, and I found it interesting. I thought this is really cool because here's me, 20-something-year-old Dennis with the accent.
Yes.
And I'm talking to people in New York.
New York.
With their New York
no
accent. Yeah, and the Canadians with their A's and the Brits with their formal accent.
And a bloody tasteful.
Yeah. Bloody hell. And,
bloody hell.
And, I thought this is pretty cool because I found myself learning from them also. Because if it wasn't the weather, I'd talk about what's going on in London, what's going on with Meghan and Harry, things like that, or sports. And they found that they would remember me for that, and they would remember me. So next time they would call the hotel, they'd ask for me. And I think it got back to my bosses. It got back to the sales, the director of sales. And
so you had nothing to do with sales?
Not at first. Wow. Because in reservations, you just wait for the phone to ring. Right? But in sales, you have to make the phone ring.
Here's my question, though. In reservation, are you allowed to go for the upsell?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And you would do that?
I would do that.
There
I would
you
do
go.
that. Sometimes I'd ask them, if mom and dad are coming,
See?
I'm coming with kids.
See? Those things, right?
Exactly.
You're not leaving money on the table.
No, sir. No.
Now, was that innate or did you train for that? Was that something you had?
I think it's partly there. I think I've always been a chatterbox.
And because of that, you're able to get more information as ammunition.
People don't believe me. I'm really shy. They think I will talk to anything that moves. But I'm really shy. But on the phone like that, and you're talking to travel agents, especially if they're nice, and then they're engaging. The 5-minute conversation, 1 minute of a conversation, a 5-minute conversation, 1 minute might be about work and their guest. The next 4 or 5 minutes are about everything else, their kids, the city they work in, and all that. So I think that kind of set this whole sales thing up. I was at Sunset as reservations manager for about 4 years. And then I went to the Peninsula, Beverly Hills, to open it. And I was one of the first 10 employees at Peninsula Beverly Hills when it opened in 1991.
Why did they get you?
Because I was a pretty good reservations manager. I think with me, it's there's a credibility that I bring to the table. There's a sincerity in my voice. And I'm not just that slick, salesperson.
You're not just a number.
Right. So I'm not just, come and stay with us. Our hotel is nice.
Right.
So, yes, I was there. But after 9 months at Peninsula, I came back to Sunset because they wanted me to be a sales manager. And in the progression of things, from res manager to sales manager, I thought that was pretty cool. So, so I had a list of travel agencies and companies that I normally talk to. And then I call them up and say, hey, I'm, a sales manager now. So, anybody coming here, just give me a call. And I think, I'm not the hard sell kind of guy.
Yes.
I'm just...
You're just available if they need you.
I'm a good sounding board. And
but that's what it's supposed to be, right? But I'm just impressed that because not everybody has that attention to detail. Asking those second level, third level questions. Like when you ask, is mom and dad coming? That equates to we might need another room. We might need an extra bed. We might need blah, blah, blah. To them, it's just, this person is so empathetic and caring. And you don't make it sound salesy.
No.
You make it sound, you there's that sincerity that comes out. So how is this translating at home?
Coming up during my early career, on my way up the ladder, it was a little difficult because when you, when I started doing sales and started traveling, my kids were maybe 2 years old.
Kids, you say the twins are two?
The twins were 18, 19. The eldest was 4. The twins were about 2 years old.
Wow.
So I was in sales, which required a lot of traveling. And I was determined to be director of sales and marketing. I didn't want to be general manager because that's a little too much for me, but I wanted to be sales and marketing. So it entailed me traveling almost every other month.
What was your wife saying?
Not much, but you gave me the looks. It's like, what? You're traveling again?
Right. So how do you deal with that? And the reason why I'd like we have listeners who are musicians, who are in relationships, who are with people who don't understand what they do.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, half of that ends in a divorce or a separation. Actually, more than half.
Right.
But what do we know? We're young, right? It happened to me too and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, now I know better. But in your case, how is the conversation like with your wife? I know she'd give you the look. But I'm imagining she giving you the look while pointing to the kids going,
That's right.
Right?
There's like 3 kids.
But,
You know,
what the
and
heck?
2.
You're gonna leave all these kids with? Was she working or?
She, after the twins came, she stopped working for about a year. You know, because what you pay for, what you make,
Goes to the nanny, diba?
Goes to the
Babysitter.
nanny. So she stopped working for a year and then came back later. But then that's when my ascent up the sales and marketing ladder started. But my thing was, I have to provide for you. That's my job. You know, my job is to get the best job possible, provide for you guys. You know, so I was hoping, she part of her probably understood that, but part of her probably maybe resented that because I would be gone for a week at a time every other month, and she had 3 screaming kids to deal with.
Were you consciously ignoring it because you had your eye on the career?
Well, the eye on the prize was always there, and I would explain it, but maybe we could have communicated better, But I was just focused on wanting to be director of sales at the Sunset Marquis.
And how about siya? Tinanong mo ba siya? Did you ask her what she wanted to be?
No.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Bad Dennis.
I know. But I thought it was my job. It was my prime duty to provide.
Me also.
To provide for them. I just did not want to be sales manager. I wanted to be a very good sales manager and eventually become director of sales and marketing. So
you wanted, your frustration was, I want you to understand that I'm doing this for us.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And
I think most of us have that mentality. Most of us males have that mentality.
Yeah. And in hindsight, that's, it's maybe that contributed among other things probably. But, to be away for a week and she had three kids to take care of.
And then pag uwi mo parang nothing.
And I would come home late sometimes, kasi you're entertaining clients.
And I bet you would even tell her you're tired to even help out.
Oh yeah, when I get
oh my God!
on Saturday mornings, it's like But no, there was a lot of entertaining. In addition to traveling every other month, there was a lot of entertaining at work.
Right.
Dinners with clients because that's part of the job.
That's part of the job. Representation. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I was able to do that, but it did take its toll. I think in hindsight, maybe it's surprising that it took that long.
I know. I was going to ask you. That's my next question. How come?
21 years.
Was it because of the kids?
I don't want to put the blame on the kids.
No. I mean, was it because of the kids? That's why you stayed 21 years together.
Probably. There was probably that. And
who called it quits?
It was her decision.
Good job.
To move on.
Good job.
I wanted. She says, I'm 40 now. I still have a ways to go.
Is she happily married also now?
Yeah, she has remarried. The funny thing is she's remarried to a guy who has twin kids.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have twins. He had twins. So they're like a Brady Bunch.
Oh. Yeah. You guys are in good terms.
Oh yeah, we're in good terms. Well, now we are.
Right.
But that took some time.
Yeah.
I would say it took maybe about 4 years for me to get
But
over
at least, diba, may ganon.
Yeah.
Ako rin ganon eh. Like now I guess I'm a better friend to my exes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a better friend to my exes and I'm a good husband to my wife.
Right.
Parang ganyan.
Yeah.
So
I think
it all works out.
Yeah, I think I don't regret anything that I've done because I think all the decisions we make were the right decisions at that time. At that time.
Now you're happily married.
I didn't think I would remarry.
How did that happen?
I got involved in my faith. I got involved in the charismatic prayer renewal movement. Yeah.
High five.
High five.
Because when you put everything in order,
Right?
no?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you put God first, no?
Yeah,
Galing.
it's I was actually in between jobs at that time because I had
Yun
just
pa.
left.
Oh my God.
I had left Sunset
wow.
in 2009, and
Wow.
I took a 10-month break. I said,
Okay,
I'll use
sabbatical.
this, I'll use this time to play golf, hang out with my brothers. I even thought of maybe I should go home to the Philippines, open a hotel or a resort.
Wow.
And then I said, no, maybe not, because I'm not so sure about the politics there.
Of course.
And I didn't want to
course.
deal with that. So I took a 10-month break. And then a friend of mine said, hey, you live around here? Well, every Friday we meet at this church, St. Columban Church. There you go, shout out.
Shout out.
And the group is called Household of Faith.
Uh-huh.
And I had no idea. I've heard of the charismatic prayer movement, but I had no idea. So I came in without any judging. I came in on a Friday night. My friend was there, and the first half hour was like praise and worship.
Right.
Like, oh, this is fun.
Okay.
The songs
Yeah.
were upbeat.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
it's
yes,
pretty
yes.
cool.
No judgment there either.
No judgment. That
Yeah.
was the biggest thing. There was no judgment, and I can't remember the topic, but so I went on a Friday, and then I had perfect attendance every Friday for like a year.
Wow.
And I had
You were single.
I was single. I had we hadn't officially divorced yet.
Right.
My ex-wife.
And you weren't looking.
I wasn't looking. I thought, marriage is probably not for me.
Not for me. I'm done.
Yeah, I want to do things when I want, whenever
Right.
I want.
Freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was that for like maybe a couple of years, and then when I got involved with church, I had all these friends who were all married, and then somehow, although I wasn't looking, I said maybe it would be nice if I met someone in the church,
Good
because
place.
then we'll have something in common.
Yes.
So yeah, and one of their friends was my wife right now. So I was just at our friend's one of their house, and I saw their wedding picture, and I said, "Who's that one bridesmaid?" And they said, "Oh yeah, that's Ella." I said, "Have I met her?" No, but she comes every other time. So they set me up.
Wow.
They set her up with me, and at first she didn't like me.
Why?
Maybe because of the baggage that I was bringing to
And the accent.
table, and the accent, even if it was slightly less. But persistence wins.
Yes,
out.
yes.
She might not have liked me at first, but I guess that's when the good guy in me, I would accompany her to her doctor's appointments because she was deathly afraid of doctors and
Okay.
needles. That was 2010 when I met her, and then
Age gap.
7.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, she's never been married. No
Wow.
kids. So I brought the baggage. I brought all the baggage. Married, kids, student loans. And
Oh
all
my
that.
God.
But as it relates to my work
Yeah.
now, I don't travel as much. I still work in hotels, but I don't travel as much.
And you still do what you want to do. And you have
yeah.
your wife very supportive of
Yes,
what.
she's very supportive.
Are you
Well,
supportive of what she does too?
Oh yeah.
You've learned.
Exactly. If you don't learn, man. But she had a cancer scare back in 2014, and so she had double mastectomy.
Right.
But most of the decisions, if not all the decisions, were solely hers. I would have my input. She would ask me about the procedure, et cetera, and I would give my opinion. But at the end of the day, it was her decision. It's her body.
How did it feel on your part? Was it stressful? My mom died of cancer.
Oh,
so,
no, sorry to hear.
so every time I hear the word cancer, I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want to go through that.
Yeah, no, it hit us like a rock. She just went for a standard routine mastectomy, and then they said, you have to come back because it's not quite clear.
Wow.
So they did an MRI and all that, and I knew right away this can't be good because when they have you come back like that. So the moment they said that she had early stage, stage 1 cancer.
But buti na lang.
Yeah, that was a good thing, and fortunately she had good friend who knew someone at Cedar Sinai, and her sister, pardon me, who is a doctor, said, better get both taken out.
Yeah.
Those two babies of yours, get them taken out, not just one.
Yep. Don't take the chance anymore,
exactly,
diba?
Exactly.
Why give them a space?
Yeah, so they took them both out. That was 2014. So we wanted to get married earlier, but we kind of delayed that because of the cancer. And then we got married in 2016. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So thank you. Yeah.
So,
I didn't think I would get
6
married
years
again.
na siya in remission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 years.
And life is good.
Life is good. You know, like I said, work, I don't have to, it's a little less stressful now because I don't have to manage egos. I still work for a hotel. I love what I do. That's the most important thing. You know, you have to love what you do. You have to have the passion for what you do.
You still have the passion.
I do. I still like talking to companies, the travel managers, asking what they need. A big part of what I do really is, a lot of it is listening.
Yes.
You can't just be talking and it's all about you.
Yes. Oh.
You know, so
please repeat that because
a lot of it is talking, listening, and it's not all about you. You know, when I talk to a client, you have to ask them what's the number one need.
Yeah.
You know, what is your decision going to be based on? Is it the location of the hotel? Is it the rate? Is it the amenities? What are you looking for? So based on that,
so you're pretty much wanting them to talk so that you can profile them and actually give them something that will be of value to them based on what they need, not on what you want to push because you're going to make a commission or a bonus. Diba?
Right. And to me, that's the last thing. You know, I want the client to be happy. So I'm not just going to give them a rate. You know, it's not all about the rate because you can get a rate, but if they're not happy with your property because you don't have a swimming pool, they might be looking for a swimming pool. You know, they want a 24-hour room service, and if you don't have that, that's all for naught. You know, so you have to really find out, you know, what it is they really want. So you have to listen.
Yes.
To their needs.
Now, I have to go back to the past, back to 84, 85. Where were your parents? Because
my parents were here.
But you said you were with grandma.
Yes.
And then for you and the other three sibs,
Right.
Where were your parents living?
Well, my mom came in 1970, and then my grandparents came in about 74.
Yeah.
So
your dad.
My dad was my mom and my dad. They had divorced, but my dad. We weren't sure when we left in 84. We knew he was in the Philippines because he would turn up every now and then.
So you were never close to your dad?
No, because when they broke up, I was 10. So that was about 19, or I was 7. I was 7. So we didn't know where he was, you know. So props to my grandparents for taking us in.
Yes.
Props to my mom for going it alone, pretty much alone.
Wow.
So she came in 1970. She was a piano teacher. And she was a tourist. And then eventually when Ronald Reagan, I think, gave amnesty.
In 1980, was it 80, 84? 84?
Or maybe it was even 80. Before that. I know she was paying immigration attorneys and all that. But I think it might have been in the 80s.
Yes, it was in the 80s because my aunt was also a beneficiary of that Ronald Reagan amnesty.
Yeah. So she did that alone. She worked at a bank. She worked at a department store.
2 jobs?
At first, just a department store and teaching piano. And my mom was a señorita. You know, growing up in the Philippines, she was a señorita. You know, it's like.
How about you? Were you a señorito in the Philippines?
No, not no.
Did you iron and wash your clothes in the Philippines?
We had some help. We had some help, but we learned a lot of things on self-reliance from my grandparents also.
Right.
And my mom was a very good mom, even if, like she always says, you know, it's like I'm parenting you guys remotely.
Yes.
You know, so she. So she did that pretty much on her own. So when we came in 84, she had remarried.
Wow.
She had already remarried. And then my grandparents, they were probably in their 60s, 70s at that time. They had lived in Alhambra. But
Okay.
so the four kids initially we lived with my grandparents, and then eventually we all moved out. But we're all here in the Los Angeles area.
Is your dad still walking the earth?
No,
Your mom?
no, they both left us.
I'm sorry.
Within a year apart in 2015 and 2016. Yeah, but they left us. They left us with very good life lessons.
That's
And I
nice.
think,
Yeah.
and I think all four of us turned out to be okay.
Now you and your brothers live in LA, or
Yeah.
no one's out of state?
No one is out of state.
So you guys still get together?
Oh, quite a bit. You know, I think when our kids were all little,
Yeah.
I lived in Walnut, and we would just call each other on a Saturday morning.
Nice.
What's
going
going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Now let's talk about your kids, naman. Your kids are, do they have their own places, or are they with you?
One of them has her own place in Irvine.
Layo.
I know. That's how she started, and she
Did she go to UC Irvine? Is that why she's
No,
there? Oh.
no, not even. She worked for Guess, you know, the
Yes,
clothing
yes,
company
yes.
Guess, and she became a store manager.
Okay.
And then somehow her first job at Guess was somewhere in Orange County, and she would commute from Walnut to Orange County, and somehow she got stuck there.
Made friends there.
Yeah, yeah. So she's
Irvine,
there.
Spectrum.
Yeah, somewhere there. And then the other one lives in Koreatown. So
Yes.
so about
Close by.
Yeah.
Where are you still based in LA? Are you in LA still? You?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we're
Koreatown
in
is
like
not-
East Hollywood. Yeah. East Hollywood, Los Feliz.
Right.
And then the other daughter, the other twin, went back to school. She decided to go back to school.
Are you paying for school?
I am paying for her FIDM education.
Oh.
Two of them decided to go
So
to
she's in
Fashion
downtown. Yeah. Okay.
Well, they decided...
Both of them, huh?
Yeah.
FIDM.
One for merchandise marketing.
Nice.
And then the other one was visual design, visual communications. But they both burned out doing that.
Wow.
You know, and then the other one who took up visual communication, she was doing well in the industry. She was in film, she was in costumes and all that, but she burned out. She was making good money, but she was driving long distances and long hours.
Okay, now I get it.
So she burned out and said, Dad, I think I want to go back to school. I'm like, excuse me? There's still the FIDM education.
So when they say they want to go back to school, does that mean, Dad, you're paying for my tuition fee? Is that
No. No.
They're just telling you they want to go back
Just
to
one
school.
tuition fee, but you decide, well, you just have to support them. You
Yeah.
know, even if, you're like, well, what? I'm still
Right.
paying that. You just have to support them. And she's taking speech language pathology. So bless her heart, she's going to be helping kids with disabilities.
That's
and all
nice.
that.
Because and that's a good job. My third son, what's my third son? Wait, 1, 2, 3, fourth son. My fourth son did not talk until the age of 3.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh Lord, because I'm a talkative person. All the kids are talkative, and the third son would just go, ugh,
Oh, right.
and I was like, I hope he's not autistic, but God bless him if he is. But and then the doctor goes, I'm going to recommend a speech therapist.
Right.
And I go, how is that going to help? Oh, you'll see. If he doesn't learn how to talk, then we'll run some tests. So I was like, I hope he learns how to talk. So now I'm hunting that speech therapist because my son wouldn't stop talking. That was my boy who gave you a hug a while ago.
Yeah,
That's him. Doesn't stop talking.
Oh, wow. He's so cute.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh my God, now they all are very talkative. All of them.
Lumabas din yung jeans.
You lumabas, yeah.
Right.
And so every morning I would ask him, what's our color today? Yellow. Why? Because green is good. And then there's blue is better than green. Yellow is not good. Red is parents have to come in. So you got a yellow. I go, why'd you get a yellow, baby? And he's like, because I was talking. Why were you talking? Because I finished my homework early and I got too excited. But, I just go, hey, it's okay. Better talk than not talk.
Right. Yeah.
So they're in school.
Only one is in school.
Only one is
Right.
in school. One is 2 are working. Is everybody married? among your kids?
No, far from it.
Far from it because daddy doesn't want them to get married?
No, not so much that. It's like they can get married on their own timetable. I think 2 of the 3 can get married. The other one, for obviously reasons, she's still in school.
But what if she marries a rich guy and says, I'll pay for your education?
Let's cross that bridge when we get there. But if he'll pay for the education, sure. But he still has to be a nice guy. He still has to pass.
Are you a strict dad?
I think I was. I think in my previous marriage, I think I was a bad cop. My ex-wife was a good cop, and I was a bad cop. I think I'm the cool dad.
Now.
I think even back then, they joked that I'm the favorite tito of all their friends.
Okay.
Filipino or otherwise. But no, I'm strict because I had that strict upbringing.
Yes.
With my grandparents and my parents.
So what was the law? I mean, I have a daughter. She's 4 years old. But what was your law? Maybe I could pick out something. What was the law in the house, the Hofilena household?
Well, there was curfew.
Well, which was
about 11 o'clock.
At what age?
Until high school.
Really?
Until they graduate from high school.
So
for as long as it was pretty much easy. As long as you live in the house, it's my rules.
Right.
Those rules are kind of bendable too.
Okay.
It's like I'm a softie also. I'm like strict, and my kids will say, "Oh, Dad, you're leaking again."
Right, yeah. So they got you wrapped around.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a favorite among the 3 of them?
No, Paco, because that's like saying, which of your 5 fingers do you want to cut off? So you can't. I just tell them that the eldest is my favorite because you are the eldest. I call her the oldest Dot. I call her Dot, So she's my favorite because you're the only eldest I have. The middle one is like, you're my favorite because you're the middle. There's only one middle daughter.
Such a politician.
You had to be diplomatic. But no, I all love them. They're all different.
Even the twins have different personalities.
Oh yeah.
By the way, my youngest sisters are twins.
Oh yeah.
So I grew up with twins also. Yeah.
Boys, sisters.
Girls, sisters.
Yeah. No.
I hope they're not boys.
No, I enjoy having daughters only. If you can imagine, going to boys' school, kindergarten, and then end of high school, it's like, the same. That's why when you go to those soirees, they call them.
The soirees. Like, went there. Oh my God.
You go to the fairs.
Yes.
Like,
marriage booth.
That's right. Kissing booth, marriage booth. Sure.
Yes, handcuff.
So,
Bring it!
Yeah. So when we found out that my wife back then and I were pregnant with the first one, we didn't want to find out, except the doctor said, there's a chance that you might have to terminate the pregnancy.
Huh?
So, excuse me?
What?
Oh, because my wife had measles, I think. She contracted a little bit of the measles. They said the baby might have lesions.
Yes.
Baby might come out with lesions. I'm like, no. This can't happen. Second opinion. So I went with the second opinion. They said 10% chance.
Right.
So the baby came out, honking 9-pounder.
What?
Giant.
What?
And I'm tiny. And
wow.
Is
your daughter taller than you?
No, at first I thought, Miss Universe candidate, 9 pounds, it's like Michelin baby.
Yeah. Oh.
But then, and then the twins were 3.5 pounders.
Oh wow.
But now we could be, they could be triplets and I could be the brother. We're all the same height. Unfortunately, we're petite. I say they got their mom's looks and my brains. Just kidding.
No height.
Kidding.
Let's not talk about height.
No,
for the record, for the listeners, what's your height?
5 flat.
Hey, you made it.
Yeah, I made it. Yeah, I was hoping 4'11". Come on.
Because like our friend's wife is 4'11", and she hates 4'11" because that's a midget status already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when people that's another thing. If you go 4'11", they normally get offended at 4'11".
Right.
Because that's why can't you even say 5?
Just lie. Just say 5. But the height thing, it didn't bother me at first. But hotels, working in hotels,
Yeah.
it's an image-driven industry,
Right.
So I'm lucky that despite this package, that my bosses, starting from the very beginning, gave me this break. Maybe something shown in me,
Personality.
probably.
Personality. I can feel the personality. And I hope our listeners and our viewers can feel that too. Because you know what? A bunch of nuggets from this conversation that we're having is really coming out and just flowing, overflowing. And me personally, my takeaway from this one-on-one with you is that if you really have the drive and the passion, you can be anybody you want to be.
Yeah.
Anybody. Like what really got me interested is when you were put down by your kababayans. But it just glazed over you. And look at you now. Even your ex-wife, everything she said just glazed over you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're driven. You're driven.
Right.
And off cam, I told you that I buckled during one of my relationships. I looking back in hindsight, dun din pala uuwi. Now I was there was a time I was questioning myself. Should I have buckled? Should I have picked career over what was given me and all that stuff? But I guess God always has a plan for all of us, diba? And all that. And I guess what I'm seeing in you, which is why I'm also inspired, is there's not just one chance, but there are chances as long as you keep at it.
Yeah.
And in your case, the one thing that I want the viewers and the listeners to take away also is what you said. You never forced anything, even when you were in sales. Hindi ka hard sell. Yeah. And sometimes in life, pag trying hard ka, lalo ka napapahamak
right.
di ba?
Yeah. And that's the one thing to reconnecting with my faith. I think that was a turning point because I had been separated already for like 4 years, and then I reconnected with my faith. At that point, I hadn't forgiven my ex-wife yet. I didn't forgive her probably until, maybe like a year later when she called me and said, can we meet?
Ooh.
Can we meet somewhere? Because I'm having problems with the kids. Because now the kids weren't receptive to her having a boyfriend already. And I'm like, okay.
And at this time, you were already doing
I was doing the church thing. Where one of the things they tell you have to learn how to forgive.
Right.
So I agreed. Okay, let's meet at some neutral place. And on the way there, I was like praying. It's like, Lord, please, please teach me what to say, because I can have an acid tongue also.
Yes.
I can be.
Plus, may resentment ka pa eh.
Yeah.
Or you think you have.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
right.
Please, Lord, don't let me say anything, really bad, because I can be very patient. I can be very nice. It takes a lot for me to get really mad, but when I do get mad, it's not good.
Yes.
So that's what I was praying for, that I don't say anything stupid. And so when we spoke, that's what she says. Like they have a hard time with this, and maybe it's probably because you don't have a girlfriend yet. I'm like, what? No, I'm enjoying, life the way it is, single blessedness and all that. But we got through the conversation, and I didn't say anything, untoward. I was very nice to her. And at that point, I said, I've learned to forgive her and let everything go. Because that's all you do. You just leave everything up to the Lord. And it was the same thing when I was in between jobs. It's like, after 10 months, I'm like, okay, this is getting uncomfortable. This is a little too much. I said maybe 3 months, 4 months, but 10 months. So I just kept praying, and at some point I'm like, Lord, are you still listening to me? Napagod ka na ba listening to me? But I just thought of it as, with each passing day that I don't have that job yet, you're one day closer to finding that job. And I started going to the cathedral every day, because I lived close to the cathedral, about less than a mile. And then I would just wake up in the morning and just watch Golf Channel and whatever. So I said, let me just go to church every day at noon. Because if I didn't do that, I won't get up.
Okay.
I won't get up from my bed. And so I would go to church. And then there was a time that I had an interview for a job. I said, yeah, thank you, Lord. So I went to church, and I went to the Blessed Sacrament Chapel at the cathedral.
Yeah.
So I'm praying there. And all of a sudden, this bright light just shone.
The altar? On the altar?
Yeah, on the altar. And I looked behind me. There's nothing there. There's no light. There's no light fixture to shine light on the cross. And I asked my friend who was with me, I'm like, sister, do you see that light? It's like, no. Uh-oh. I had goosebumps.
Of course.
It's like, okay, this is a sign. This is a sign that, maybe I'll do well with this interview. And sure enough, I got the job, and so 10 months later. But the moral of the story is that, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Just when you think he's not listening, he is.
Yes.
Just when you think he's not there, he is. Just trust him. And at that point, I said, Lord, I leave everything up to you.
Amen.
And then I think that's been my mantra ever since. And also the other mantra I have is, if it's not the end of the world, it's not the end of the world. So any problems, it's like, just take it easy, lift it
That's
up to
true.
the Lord. All of a sudden we get all religious here.
Getting religious is part of it, and I'm glad that we're actually talking about this, because we have to put the horse before the cart.
Right. Yeah.
In this case, we have to put God above all. And I'm not offended by people who don't believe in God, and I expect the same from people who don't believe in God not to be offended that I believe in God.
Yeah.
What goes around comes around, diba?
Right.
So fair.
Yeah.
And it's very inspirational that you've done this. Because now, how did that translate to your kids? When your kids found out that you've gone to prayer meetings, that you've built a relationship with the Lord, did they go, what?
No, I think because we were always, you would say, religious. Like I said, going to Catholic school, and then I was an altar server. And even when we lived in West Covina, the kids went to St. Martha's School there.
So Catholic school
also. And we were involved. At least I was involved with the church.
Right.
So they would always see that. We'd always go every Sunday. But the difference, I think, is that I did not have that relationship,
with
a meaningful relationship with God.
That one-on-one, yeah.
Right. And when I met my wife, she is into it too.
Okay, before that, before we go to your current wife, when you sat down, and I know you talked about this a while ago, but when you sat down with your ex-wife to talk about your kids, at that point you already had a one-on-one relationship, a personal relationship with God, right? Not yet.
It was a relationship, but it wasn't a close personal relationship.
Because you were just starting.
Yeah, it's like you're just going through the motions.
And then when that episode of your life, when you got over that, like a big lump from your chest just disappeared.
Right. Yep.
Did it bring you closer to the Lord?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because before, it's like you go to church. You go to church 1 hour on a Sunday.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Okay. You pray, but it's pretty much hollow, But now when I pray, it's like I'm talking to
Yeah.
him.
Amen.
Sometimes I fall asleep talking to him.
But what better way, di ba?
Exactly.
It's like, pag kasama mo daddy mo, di ba, matutulog ka na, magkakwento ka, gamamay, nakatulog ka na sa arms ng tatay mo. Or,
and I just say, nagdadasal lang ako ng mataimtim. So I fall asleep. But
parang, you guys know what to do, right? If you're at work and you have your eyes closed and you're trying to take a nap, di ba? And your boss catches you behind your desk, slumped, eyes closed, taking a nap.
Right.
When your boss taps you, hey, Dennis, wake up. Para hindi ka mahalata, what you do is you stand up straight,
right,
and then you actually say, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. There you go. No. But that changed everything. I think when the kids, when I told them that I was involved in the church, I don't know what they were thinking, because...
Did you ever wonder?
Did I ever wonder...
What they were thinking?
Yeah. No, probably not, because they knew that if I was religious, my mom and my grandparents were even more
But
religious.
this is not you being religious. This is you having a relationship with.
Yeah.
You're not just going through the motions of Sunday.
No, not anymore.
Meron ka ng Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not at any time, but at will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I ask, because my son hated me. My firstborn hated me because of when I was going through my dark phase. I brought him with it, and it kind of messed up his teenage life. And then, like a couple of years ago, he actually came up to me, and we patched things up. And he actually said, "Wow, you know what? Your relationship with Christ is a good thing, not only for you but for me and you."
No, see, there we go.
Doon ako naiyak eh. And I think that's something we think that it's nothing, but that's when I realized, oh my God, my kids were actually my kids are actually looking up to me. And you have girls.
Right.
I only have one, and I'm so scared. That's why this podcast is pretty much for me and other dads who are buying guns because they have girls.
Right. Oh, it was hard, growing up with 3 daughters. It was funny. It was. With 3 daughters.
Do tell. Why is it funny?
When we would commute to work, when we lived in West Covina, they were still going to school in LA. So I would drive them to work, and we'd be in the carpool lane, and I'd see them, they're all like sleeping. And when they're awake, why are we listening to the same top 40 radio station where, it's the same 10 songs?
Oh my God, you're the only boy in the house.
I was the only boy in the house. It's me and the dog. So the dog and I would go outside.
So the dog is a boy.
The dog is a boy. Thank goodness for that. But yes, when it's that time.
Oh yes, sabay-sabay pa.
Then okay, come on, Trip, let's go outside, and we just stare at each other. It's like,
when they're PMSing,
right?
That's bad, right?
And it follows. It's they're on the same schedule, the same cycle. Yeah. But no, the girls are funny. I enjoyed, especially the part I was telling Mike this. I think my favorite was I was helping coach their soccer and basketball team, because you're like the soccer dad. You got the van and all that. That was fun, and all their girlfriends. Because being used to boys, it's like, oh, this is nice. This is refreshing for a change. All the girls with the cute stuff and everything. For the longest time,
very emotional.
Yeah, well, that's the thing when they get to the teen years and they're all emo. But now they're all good now. I would ask someone before. I would ask my friends, like, that thing they say about girls. It's like, when does the light switch just turn on? When does it just turn on? And he was like, no, there's no particular age or time. It just happens.
That maturity thing.
Yeah, that maturity thing. But now they're all pretty mature. And no, I don't regret having 3 girls because it was wacky. It was funny. We go through our Britney Spears stage, or Christina Aguilera. And even now they are still Backstreet Boys fans. And
I just saw the Backstreet Boys. That was a year ago. It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, they're all.
I was one of the girls.
I was like that. I'd accompany them, all the girls, and all that. No, so it's good having 3 girls.
And when they first had boyfriends, how was that?
Oh, that was tough. I had a hard time letting go. I was like,
why would you let go? They're not getting married. They were just having boyfriends. But how was
the thing?
Okay, how was it? How old were they? How old was your eldest?
The eldest.
Or she had her first boyfriend.
I think she might.
That you know of.
That I know of. Oh, the eldest was a handful, but funny. I think she had a boyfriend. Oh, I don't know, maybe sophomore year, junior year.
Ouch!
And it's like, oh, Dad, I'm going out with Tim.
And you figured out, you knew that you smelled boyfriend, no?
Oh yeah. I can smell. You know us. And
my daughter's 4 years old. I was looking at the 5-year-old kid. I was stay away from my daughter.
That's right. But no, I gave them the benefit of the doubt.
Really?
Yeah. But just be back by X time.
Oh.
But no, there was one time, one of the twins was already in her 20s, probably. But she lived with us for a little bit. And then she came home at like 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning. So it's like, daughter, where were you last night?
Right.
It's like, excuse me, Dad, I don't think I need to answer that question. It's like, oh, okay. I think at that point I had let go. And my now wife, she's been very good with this thing, and
so she's the good cop.
She's the good cop, and I'm still the bad cop. But she puts it in a different perspective.
Right.
She puts it in perspective. Now look, the kids are whatever their age is, and it's all good now. It's like, okay.
So have you moved on?
I have moved on.
And that's good for you, right? Because it doesn't.
It's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
You have work to worry about.
Yeah.
You have the kids to worry about. I know that they're gainfully employed. I know that the one who's going to school is striving really hard to get that degree of hers. So I think we're in good hands, and I think it all comes back to me getting reconnected with faith. And I think that was the big thing, that my now wife and I share that. That relationship with God, and all of the friends around us.
Same, diba?
It's important.
Very important.
Yeah, that all your friends, all our friends, or most of them anyway, are a part of that church. So I'm at church like Fridays.
Why not, right?
What better way to start the weekend?
Yes.
Thank God for what He's given you Monday through Friday, and start the weekend off right.
So how is work?
Work is good. I still work in hotels. It's less stressful. Is
it more of like a commercial hotel now, or still like the Sunset Marquis?
No, it's more mid-market, down-market, but it's...
What does that mean when you say mid-market?
It doesn't have the bells and whistles like a Sunset Marquis or a Four Seasons has. It doesn't have any of that. But
Really?
It addresses... There is a niche for everybody.
Yeah.
There's a hotel for everybody. Some people can afford, a 5-star hotel. Some people have 5-star tastes, but a budget for a 3-star hotel. So I think it's if there's one thing that my former boss told me is, when I asked my former boss, I said, I'm director of sales and marketing now here at the Sunset. What advice can you give me? And he just said 2 things. He said, Dennis, know your clients and know your market, know your property.
Okay.
Because if you know your property, that's the easy part. You know what you have, but you have to know your clients so that you're not just aiming, like going into a forest, just aiming aimlessly at birds
shotgun,
and animals.
diba?
Yeah, not the shotgun.
You have to have precision.
Yeah, so you have to have like a laser-like focus.
Right.
Know your clients. So don't go after clients who can only afford $100.
Right.
If you know your property, can get $200. Right. So you just have to know that, so you don't waste your time. So
did it take a while for you to know this?
No, because I had very good mentors. I had very good mentors. When I was a sales manager, I looked up to this guy and my general manager, who said, know your product and know your clients. Because at the end of the day, whether you're working for a 5-star, resort or a 3-star hotel, that's still the aim, is to know your product and know your clients, and have the passion for what you do.
Know your clients, know your property.
Yeah, and if you're just in it, to work, because it's just work for you, you're just going through the motions. Find something that you're passionate about and go for it. That's pretty much it. I just try to simplify everything in my life.
This is very good. We'll leave it at that, because the reason why, again, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because
my pleasure.
Because that what your former boss told you, know your clients, know your property, translates so well to us musicians. It's like know your niche,
right? Know
your music. Mm-hmm. You can't play heavy metal to old people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It just makes perfect sense.
Right.
And thank you. We'll have you back, huh? Because,
sure, anytime.
Because we were supposed to talk about what happens behind the Sunset Marquis. But I think this is more interesting now that people know who you are. It's nice to have you back for for more
Anytime.
of Dennis Hofilena. And thank you, Dennis.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
God bless.
We'll do it again.
Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment. And thank you. Mike Abad, thank you for introducing me to Dennis Hofilena. I really appreciate it. JJ Brent Camino, our producer for this show. Thank you very much. Until the next podcast, I'm your host. This is the Paco Arespacochaga podcast. Goodbye. I know you told me. Yeah. Like, diba yung sa basement, parking? Yeah.